call is good.
Roll call has been taken.
Anyone have a conflict of interest? What are you saying you have a conflict of interest?
Oh,
The way you're talking. So no conflicts. We don't have any presentations or delegations. We're going to hear from Maria. May I ask for a mover and seconder for everything before us today? Thank you, Councillor Samuel and Councillor Caputo. Much appreciated. Before we get into the body of today's work, we do have a new committee member, Mr. Goldberg, is on the end there, Jay Goldberg. I'd like to just take a couple of minutes if we could go around the table and do introductions, starting with Councillor Samuel and going to your left.
Hi, I'm Councillor Betty Samuel. I'm the councillor for Ward 5, and I love everything consultation with community, so I'm glad to be on this task force.
Gina Caputo, Ward 2 councillor, and ditto. I think this is a good meat and potatoes part of what we can accomplish and get forward to the city. So look forward to being with this group.
I'm Emma Volks. I'm the deputy clerk of the city of Brantford.
Linda, we'll go to you for introduction though.
Councillor Linda Hunt from Ward 4. I too am a very eager participant in engaging in public consultation.
Thank you, Jay.
Okay, Jay, very good to meet you all. Obviously, just got the appointment, Ward 2 constituent, so good to see you and everybody else, and very grateful to be here.
I'm Laura. I'm another citizen appointee, longtime Brantford resident, temporary expat for a few years, but I came back and I live just over the bridge, and my councilors are not here today. But yeah, no, it's been really interesting as somebody who has a communications background, a marketing background, but also someone who has spent most of my life in Brantford, seeing how the team works, seeing how the process works, and also being here as a resident to give that feedback to.
Thank you. Nice to meet you, Jay. I'm a member of city staff. My name is Maria Masaki. I'm the city's director of communications, community engagement, and customer service. And so public engagement is under our portfolio.
Nice to meet you.
And I'm Heather Carvello. I'm the manager of communications and community engagement. So I work closely with Maria.
And I'm Dan McCurry, your committee chair and Humboldt Ward 3 councilor. Thanks, everybody. So, Michael, are you on?
I am here.
Doing introductions. Introduce yourself, please.
Michael Sullivan, Councilor Ward 1. I've been in Brantford now for 17 years, in Ward 1 my entire time, and just seeing what we can do to make things better around here.
Thank you very much for that. We have one item for consideration. We have the minutes. We'll address the minutes first of all. Does anyone have a correction or addition to the minutes? Seeing none, it's on the floor. Let's go ahead and vote on that, please.
All those in favor? Thank you, that carried.
Okay. Maria, let's have your introduction to 4.1,
Sure.
expansion of consultation.
Certainly. Hopefully everybody had an opportunity to see the report as well as the appendix, which is the recommended survey for this campaign, and also very happy to share some highlights from the report that will be considered by the task force today. The report before you is about a plan to update and expand our community involvement framework. And as we've discussed in previous meetings, this plan is all about finding new and better ways to connect with Brantford residents and making sure that everyone has a chance to be heard, and especially when it comes to key decisions involving the future of city-owned assets. So to do this, and based on the direction that we've received from the task force to date, the recommended campaign uses a mix of engagement methods, including an online survey, 3 public forums that are at different times of day and through the week to engage residents. We also want to engage residents at popular city events like public skates and well-attended recreational programs. And the goal of that is really to meet people where they are and to make it easy for them to share their input with the city. So between December and February, the plan calls for us to host 15 events across the city, offering daytime, evening, and weekend options, not only for the public forums, but also for the recreational events that we plan to attend. So that way, we're reaching as many people as possible, and as many people as possible can take advantage of the opportunities to engage. And really, this is about giving everybody a chance to get involved and making it as accessible and as convenient as possible for people to do so. Another thing that the report details is the component of the campaign that involves leveraging the Brantford 2050 vision, specifically using the research panel that we're recruiting right now for that campaign. And that provides a very cost-effective and scientifically sound way for us to gather feedback to collect as part of this campaign. So in short, this plan helps ensure that our engagement efforts are inclusive, transparent, and meaningful. And we look forward to getting started on implementing the plan. The first event is actually a public skate that is being hosted by 2 members of the task force here today, Councillor Samuel and Councillor Sullivan. That's happening at the Civic Center next Sunday, December 7th. And that's where we plan to be with our Let's Talk Brantford booth, with my cohort Heather, who's going to help me execute this campaign, as well as the communication specialists. All of us will be attending the events, just so that everybody gets an opportunity to be involved in this. So with that, I'm happy to answer any questions.
Super, thank you for that. Jay, for your edification, during the proceedings, we're not as formal in task force as we are in council. So in every item, each member of the committee has 2 speaking opportunities. And I don't use my watch to time you, but it's about 4 minutes each. And you just show your hand up and I'll put you on the speakers list. Don't be shy. And you're, of course, a full voting member, so you're voting on everything before us at every meeting. Okay. Everybody else, I think, knows the lay of the land. So speakers. Councillor Sullivan, oh my God, we're just talking about Sullivan and Samuel. Sorry about that. Not that I'm just digging myself a deeper hole. Go ahead, Mandy.
Okay, so what I was going to say was that I really liked some of the events that you guys had laid out that you're going to attend. I think that's great. And I also, in the survey, I liked how you had some open-ended questions that gave people more of an opportunity to comment. I did have a question and maybe a possible amendment, though. I wondered about the idea of looking at or talking to surrounding municipalities to find out how they're connecting with their citizens and what their frameworks and things like that look like. And maybe there would be some good ideas that we could gather from that we could actually, come up with a Brantford-based solution for here, but that using some of those things that we can find out are working. So I wondered if that was something we considered at all so far.
Through the chair to the councillor, a comparative analysis is often done when we do any kind of a significant update to a city policy, or in this case, a plan, a framework. We normally reach out to like-sized municipalities so that we can compare apples to apples, because larger municipalities will obviously have different resources at their disposal. But yes, we can certainly do that. We do have contacts with surrounding municipalities, as well as, we usually talk to Kingston. It's a little bit bigger than us, but it's got a similar profile. Guelph is another one. Guelph is on that list. St. Catharines is on the list, Cambridge. And we usually reach out to the county as well, because we do have contacts there.
The county, I think, is also undertaking to do theirs right now as well, looking at the same thing. And then I think it was Guelph or Cambridge that I heard good things about. So if we could do something like that, would this need to be an amendment, or is this something we could just add as part of the plan?
I could introduce an amendment now. It's restraining the procedure. Go ahead and do that.
Okay. So
Seconder is.
I'm speaking. There we go. There's my seconder. So I'd just like to make an amendment that Part D, that we would have a jurisdictional kind of scan.
Sure.
With this word that how.
Yep.
Okay, so now on the amendment, is there any discussion on the amendment, which is to add another voting to?
Well, yes.
To Maria's department.
Slow us down, right? That's-
No, I won't. Any discussion, folks, at all? Then we'll go ahead and vote on this amendment.
All those in favor? Carries.
And now we're back to the original item as amended one time to include jurisdictional scanning. Discussion on the motion as amended.
I think we're done.
It's just so tiny.
I know.
Yes, Councillor Hunt, go ahead, please.
Thank you, and through you to Maria. The questionnaire is fairly open-ended, but the question around, and I'm looking at it here, question 12. I'm wondering if what you're going to get at some of these events is direct feedback on some stuff that may be outside the mandate of the committee, which is not the disposition of city assets. I highly expect that you're going to get some people that want to actually provide feedback on potential decisions that have been made of council, like while they're actually talking to you at these events. So while this survey is intended to bring back information to the committee, what would we do with that kind of feedback that we're going to get? Like, are we going to capture that in terms of this is the kinds of comments that we've got? And I'm going to put it out there. I imagine the Sports and Entertainment Center people are going to be, if they get a chance to speak to somebody from the city, then they're likely going to, go on about good, bad, or otherwise. And any counselor around the table is going to tell you we get the same thing. We might be out getting groceries and somebody runs into you in the grocery store and wants to share their opinion, which is valid. So are we planning to capture not necessarily just the results of this particular survey, or what people are actually providing feedback on during that opportunity?
Sure, through the chair. That's a really, really good question. We will, in our in-person conversations with people, we will try to bring them back to the questions that we want answered for the purpose of the mandate of this committee. That said, anytime I'm in a conversation with a resident, or any of us are, we listen. Because number one in any kind of a communication with anybody is first listening. And I know counselors know that, and people know that in their everyday lives, that you have to listen. But that's principle number one of communications and customer service. So we will listen, because they don't want to hear that, well, that's a different department, or that. We never say that. We never say that. We listen, because we're there as representatives of the city, and we will listen to all and any feedback that is provided to us, and we will capture it all. An example of council getting information that isn't necessarily relevant to jurisdictions that we manage directly. On Monday, council will see feedback from the 2025 budget priorities campaign, and council will not be surprised to learn that many people highlighted healthcare services as a key priority. Now, that's something that's really important to people, and even though it's not something that the city manages, it is something that the city can advocate for on behalf of our constituents. So we will capture all of that data and share it with the committee.
Thank you, Councilor.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure, because again, and when we ask if people have something to say, we want to make sure we value their input at that point.
Definitely.
Right.
Councilor Caputo, you have the floor, sir.
Mr. Chair, you're doing a fine job. That's what we always say at these. Doing a fine job, except the man last night wouldn't let me speak to him.
We'll edit that bit out.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Okay, I already talked to him twice today. Said, I can't believe you. You're talking to me twice today, but wouldn't let me speak twice last night. One of the events that I thought was really good on this is the fact that it's actually 14th, which is the Harvard Square Family Day weekend and the Gretzky Sports Center Public Swim, because that's the actual week that we kick off our 2025 winter week-long festival.
We know.
So it's looking forward to it, and then, you know,
Yeah.
keep moving on during the time we can actually add a lot into the actual summer event that's gonna happen. That one we haven't quite put together yet, but I'm gonna do that one. They did this one. I'm gonna do that. So it's just nice to know. It's great too that we capitalized on certain things that are happening. And just going back to what Councillor Hunt was saying, you know, if people want to give negative feedback, that's fine. If people want to talk about things, that's fine. If that's their purview, then that's what you know, their scheme of things. I'm good with that, because at least you know where the mindsets are of certain individuals, and it's always interesting to know whether or not there's any positive that come out of some of those conversations, right? Because they can say, we're not doing this, we're not doing that, we don't do this, we don't do that, we're raising tax, we're doing that. But what are the good things that are happening that people, you know, that they don't want to see? So you always have to take that with that. So that's it.
I guess I have a little bit of a technical question. This is probably just my personal marketing experience, but from the digital advertising and the Google ads and the paid social ads, are those the actual keywords you guys plan on paying against? So city asset consultation? Okay, good. Because my question would be, is that what an average citizen would search for on Google? And okay, I'm glad to hear the answer is no.
Not
So-
likely.
And then
It's not
is
likely
that-
they would search that term.
unless they're a very specific resident.
Yeah.
And then is that something where you guys are going to adjust some of those keywords over so like once you go to the skating event, and I'm probably gonna be there, it's gonna be fun. Like you might pick up on words, I guess, that people call it themselves, right? Okay. And then my other question would be for the sort of relating to what Councillor Hunt mentioned about that sort of open-ended question about what topics are you interested in? For the survey as a whole, is it your team that's analyzing the results of this one? Okay, so will there be potentially an opportunity to compare if everyone who says my biggest concern is the hospital, and then you look at, well, for the people who said hospital, which format did they want to hear from us from?
We could do that cross-reference, yes.
More just sort of like, you know, if everyone who's concerned about the hospital prefers direct mail.
Yeah.
Versus like other concerns. Okay. That's it for me. Thank you.
Thank you. Sam?
Regarding the public forums, does this committee have a role?
Let me answer.
Good
Yeah,
question.
yeah. Through the chair, very good question. You could if you'd like. We're very flexible. Normally those public meetings are facilitated by communication staff. The one that is actually planned for City Hall, we will make a hybrid meeting so that people can join online because we have that technology set up in council chambers. The others will be in person only. But if you wanted to attend, we would certainly introduce you, and it would be an opportunity to talk to residents in person if that's something that you're interested in. And if you wanted a specific role, we can certainly assign you one. Normally, for a public meeting, we do a presentation. We give people information about why we're there and what we want to talk about, and then we also leave a lot of time for question and answer.
Sam, very good question. Perhaps, Maria, what we could do is provide a little more detail with respect to 15 events.
Yeah.
With respect to start and finish times and street addresses.
Oh, yes.
And just circulate that to the committee in advance of, I
Yes,
guess.
we can
the
absolutely
first
do
one.
that.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's like, what
First
time
one
does the
being
ice
this
skating
week.
start?
No,
Yes.
Next weekend, December the 7th?
Yeah.
December
Next
7th.
weekend?
Yes. We actually, Heather created a really nice Excel sheet that has all that information in it.
Wow.
Yes. We're happy to share.
Excellent. So I think it would be certainly appropriate if committee members want to be at any and all of these events. Maybe not necessarily to, be helping people fill out the questionnaires, but certainly to be there and participate in the process. That would be a pretty good idea, Sam. Thank you. Jay, did you want to jump in? I don't want to put you on the spot, but I want to make sure everybody, feels included in what goes on here.
Sure, yeah, I was gonna ask, what kind of print advertising are you looking at?
Through the chair, another good question. We don't have a lot of print options in our market. We do use the expositor because it does reach a certain demographic that we want absolutely included in this campaign. There's another publication, Be Seen, which is a community paper magazine that we have a really good relationship with. And then, we do also do a lot of online because that's where we get more impressions. And we've also seen that if we create a little video, even if it's something animated, and we add that to the campaign on our social media platforms, we also get a lot more views just because something is moving and it has sound.
Attracts the eye.
It does. It attracts the eye and it makes people stop while they're scrolling. So that will also do that.
I didn't know that.
Oh yeah,
Video is king,
it
It is.
1000%.
short video usually.
Sure.
Further comments? Ray, one other thing I'd like to ask. Some of us are fairly active on social media, and some of us communicate with constituents in other fashions. Could you share with us some sort of a document that we can use to promote, a brief description of what we're undertaking here and the 15 events, dates, times, and places? Then we can all, and maybe a cool thing that moves. All right.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, we could do that.
Yeah, so that would be very helpful as well. Probably in a couple of different formats.
Sure. As long as you're comfortable posting things that move, you're good with that?
There's always a first time, right?
Well, so we'll give you a couple of
Yeah.
options. We can provide like a little social media campaign that you can use. We normally create those for ourselves at post 1, post 2, post 3, post 4 with the text for the body part of the post, as well as graphics. And we can also share the little MP3 video that we create. It'll be under a minute, to your point, because it cannot be too long. And you can also always share from the city's account because we'll obviously be posting on all of the city accounts. But if you'd like your own so that you can sort of put your own voice to it, we can give you the elements of the campaign as well.
Excellent, thank you. I don't see any other comments, so I just do have a couple of questions. When I'm looking at the research panel selection overview, there was some small degree of discomfort with respect to utilizing the group that we're looking at. Could you indicate what you understand to be how data will be weighted to correct any under or overrepresented segments? No, it's not an easy question to answer.
Yeah. Well, through you, I would say, just based on all of the conversations that we've had with the research team that is leading this effort, there has been a lot of attention paid to ensuring that the representation is reflective of the community. And so there have been demographics that have been put to them from the city. This is our criteria. These are the age groups and the newcomer group we want to talk to, as well as the 55 plus group. So we've been very clear that we need that diversity. And so I think by virtue of the way that the panel will be recruited, that balance will be built in. The other principle about this that makes us feel better is that everything that the research group is doing needs to go through an ethics committee audit at Laurier. So they can't do anything independent of that body, making sure that they are conducting the research and doing so in a way that meets the client's objectives. We're the client, but also it respects the privacy of the people that are participating. and meets the criteria that's been established for the project.
Thank you. Anything else, folks? Last call. We will go to the vote on this.
Okay, all those in favor? That carries.
So we have no resolutions. We have no notice of motion. Thank everybody for coming today and contributing. And our next meeting will be sometime in the future.
Yeah.
Sometime in the
Not sure.
future. Well put, Mr. Chair.
This spring, right, March?
Well, we can report back in March. Mid-March.
Mid-March.
But if we could get the materials that we've asked for.
Oh, of course. Oh, of course. Yeah, no,
and
that's,
just
yeah.
in email format.
Yes, of course.
And then we can start sharing.
Yes, we'll provide it to Emma and she can disseminate it to the task force.
Again, thank you very much, everybody. We are adjourned.
Thank you.
Thank you.